Whether you're picking and grinning or just picking or just grinning, grab a drink, pull up a seat. It's time for Roots Music Rambler. Turn it up. All right, so I understand we're recording this for the folks out there watching and listening. We're recording this the week after the 4th of July weekend, which is a big weekend in Chicago. And I know that you and your better half or worse half, however you want to look at it, spent the weekend at our favorite little place up there, Fitzgerald's. Tell us about the American Music Festival.
Yes. I put on Facebook that it's the most wonderful time of the year. And it is. It's a 4-day festival that I look forward to every single year. And even if I don't know half of the bands and artists who are playing, I always find someone new to like, So that was just this past weekend, July 2nd through the 5th, right? 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. Yes. And my better half, as you said, was there most of the time with me, but I shared the second pass with one day with my sister and then one day with my friend Michelle. So but it was fantastic as usual. It really is my favorite festival. It's so intimate, and you've been to Fitzgerald, so you kind of have an idea of what the campus looks like. But it's intimate, and just looking at it like from the street, you would never think that there's enough space there for 3 different bands or acts to be playing at the same time, and at the same time accommodating like 1,000 people. Right. So, but yeah, that's exactly what happens. And the music is fantastic, of course, but what I love most about it, and I put this in an Instagram post too, is that just the community that has developed because of Fitzgerald's and the festival over the last several decades. The current owners of Fitzgerald's are not the original owners. So they inherited the place that had this reputation, and they've done nothing but improve upon it. So the community is even stronger. I feel totally comfortable going to Fitzgerald's by myself at any time, even during the festival, just by myself. And because I know I'm going to see somebody that I know, at least one other person. So to me, that's huge, because it's not every day that somebody is able to go with me to a show. So the community is what keeps bringing me back. And of course, the music. And this year, one of the highlights for me was American Aquarium. BJ is just, I love his energy. And I was telling Tom and Michelle too, I'm like, I love it when he really gets into it and he gets those crazy eyes. And if you've seen American Aquarium live, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Uh-huh. So he just brings this energy that is, it is off the charts. And I love, love, love that no matter what, every time I have seen BJ, either solo or with the band, he stays at the merch table after the show to talk to whoever wants to come and say hi. And he did it again this time. And to me, that is, you just can't beat that,
Yeah.
So American Aquarium was awesome. The Aaron Kelly band, who I'll talk about probably at some point, maybe not this episode, but another episode, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
So his band was outstanding. They were so much fun to see. And then CJ Chenier, Zydeco band from Louisiana. Just it was outstanding. By Sunday night, the last day of the festival, I could barely stand anymore. My back hurt so bad.
Yep.
So, it was a good time. 4 days of music and standing and beer and margaritas and barbecue and, 500 of my best friends.
There you go.
Yeah. And it's friends of the show. Nathan Graham and Sarah Jean Stevens played, not together, separately, but they played as well. So yeah, good time had by all.
Excellent. Well, while you were on one of the nights that you were doing that, Katie and I were out baking in the sun. Friday night, I believe it was, we went to Frankfort, Kentucky. They had a little music festival to celebrate America's 250th. And the 3 acts that we saw were Hancock and Schaus, who I've talked a lot about on the show, friends of the show, the local Honeys. and Cole Chaney was the headliner that night. And I was able to go back and chat with each one of them a little bit just to say hello and whatnot. And actually, it's kind of funny. I took Katie back to meet, to meet Ella Webster's dad, Mickey, who I went to school with. And because Ella, of course, is the fiddle player for Cole Chaney. And we happened to be standing there, and Cole was doing some pictures with some fans or friends or whatever. And I said, well, hang out here, Katie, and I'll introduce you to Cole. And of course, Katie's eyes get real big. She's like, oh my God, I'm meeting Cole Chaney. This is so cool. And someone asked Cole a question, like if he wanted beers for his band or something. And he turned, and I just happened to be the person standing closest to him. I thought he probably thought I was a band member, and he was just going to say, hey, did the guys want beer? And he looked right at me and went, oh, hey, Jason, how's it going? And you should have seen the look on Katie's face. She's like, oh my God, Cole Chaney knows my dad. So that was kind of neat to see.
You probably won all kinds of cool dad points with that one.
Well, I've been winning a lot of cool dad points with her lately. We've spent a lot of time together at Cowan Creek, and certainly going to shows. And then actually tonight, the night we're recording this, I'll fill everybody in on a little secret plan that Frank and I have been dreaming up here. I'm bringing Grant and Katie to Chicago in a couple of weeks from when we're recording this to see Rush. And that's just like one of those, I can't not do this. This is too cool. They're on tour again. Chicago was probably the closest place they were going to be. I went ahead and got a couple of tickets. We're obviously going to go up and hang out with Frank and Tom and whatnot. But Frank and I discovered a couple of months ago that the night before, Sunday night, the Rush show is on a Monday night. Sunday night, the night before, Lucy Dacus is playing at Millennium Park with the Chicago Philharmonic. So tonight at dinner, I surprised Katie to let her know that we're all going to go to see Lucy Dacus too.
My goodness.
And she lost her mind, of course.
You didn't record it?
I didn't record it because I just showed her the ticket. I said,
okay,
because I had her look a couple of weeks ago. I said, hey, look for something to do on Saturday and Sunday while we're in Chicago, because we're coming up on Saturday. We're going to stay through Tuesday mornings when we're going to drive back. And I said, find something for us to do on Saturday or Sunday. And I thought for sure she was going to find this Lucy Dacus show, and I was going to have to spill the beans because I was going to wait and surprise her. But then I thought I can't wait and surprise her as we're walking in, because she will want to wear a certain outfit and dress a certain way, and I'll never hear the end of it. So I knew I had to tell her before we left. So we bought, Frank and I got the tickets. Frank and Tom are going. We're all five of us are going. And I didn't tell Katie. And and the way that I told her was I kind of, wagged a finger at her. So when you were looking for stuff to do on Sunday in Chicago, you missed something pretty significant. But fortunately, your father and Francesca have a music podcast, and we know what's down. And I flipped the phone around and let her read the ticket. And she was like, oh my God, we're going to see Lucy Dacus. I was like, yes, with the Chicago Philharmonic.
Oh, my goodness.
So she kind of lost it. And of course, Grant was in on it the whole time too. And she's like, you knew? He's like, yeah, I knew. Dad told me.
And meanwhile, my kid has no idea and will be.
She's going to be mad. She's going to be so mad.
Kind of dreading her finding out.
Yeah, we'll buy her a shirt or something. She'll be all right.
Dios mío. I feel so bad.
Yeah, well, she's got other plans with her dad, and that's okay too. That's important. So it's fine.
I did check with her dad before committing or not committing to anything. So I did my due diligence.
Well, it's, I think it's a summer vacation thing or something. And, she's got to be with her dad. That's fine. She'll get over it. Anyway, so yeah, we had a fun weekend watching music and surprising kids and all that good stuff. And so we'll certainly be reporting back on our weekend in Chicago. And I'm actually going to come up and help Frank here kind of redo some cameras and stuff in her studio, little office space there. So
yes, much needed. And I think before that, Anthony and I are going to do some demo.
Okay.
Well, right. We'll have a big reveal afterward.
Right. We'll have you, when you see things different on the podcast, it will be the first one that we recorded after July the 18th, because that's when I'm doing it. So that'll be fun. Anyway, We're just all sorts of insider shit that nobody cares about because we got a guest to get to. Welcome to Roots Music Rambler. She's Frank.
And he's Falls.
And we're rambling on through the stories behind the music we love.
Yes. And today, like Jason said, we do actually have a guest. We're going to break out the Southern Boogie, which is the name of Sam Morrow's new album. So he's originally from Texas, lived in LA for a decade trying to hone his sound, but then found it when he moved back east to Nashville, reconnected, and then married his high school sweetheart and just got back to those Texas and Southern rock sounds.
That's right. The Texas rock influence of ZZ Top are pronounced in his new album, which he says is closer to him being himself than in previous efforts. We'll explore more about that and find out what the differences are in the clarity he's found with his new music.
So Southern Boogie is his sixth studio album. And while he's always had a Southern rock sound, his early work was probably more singer-songwriter, acoustic based, but that's not abnormal for an artist just starting out. So we're interested to hear more about that evolution from Sam today on the show.
That's right. Sam reminds me a little bit of one of our recent guests, Sandy Thomas, and certainly Blake from Yarn, that sound. He's got a little bit of 49 Winchester familiarity in there. And I think all of you guys know one of my first purchases when I started collecting records again a few years ago was Trace Amigos by ZZ Top. I had to have that on vinyl. So Sam is definitely in my wheelhouse of good listens.
All right. So we'll also have our normal pick and the grinning segment. We'll share our choices for new songs, albums, artists, and all that good stuff. So make sure you stick around for that as well.
Certainly. We've got a good show for you this week. I've got a good pick in the grinning for you a little bit later on, too. But first, we need to get to Sam Morrow. And to do that, we need to take a quick break to grab a refill and settle in. Thank our fine sponsors that make this show possible. Then when we come back, Southern rocker Sam Morrow joins us. Stay tuned. This is Roots Music Rambler.
Dallas, Texas, New Orleans. Them women never sang in my key. York to Mississippi now, in between. Got love for them, but they don't love me. Bundled up with some.
Welcome back to Roots Music Rambler. That there song is called South Texas Women, and it's off the brand new album from Sam Morrow. The album's called Southern Boogie. Sam is with us here on the program. Sam, how are you, man?
I'm great. How are you guys?
We're fantastic and super thrilled you're here.
Me too.
Let's start out with the South Texas Women song. I think it was inspired by your new bride, but it also, the song kind of seems to encapsulate your recent sort of shift in music and sound and location. Tell us a little bit about that story.
Yeah. So me and my wife met in high school, actually. And then we didn't talk for about 15 years. And then we reconnected and now we're married. But yeah, and it's just kind of takes you through, I lived in California. I've been touring around the country for better part of 10 years or so. And I don't know, I just never met a woman like her, I never. And that, I wrote that song. I told her I wrote a song for you. And she said, "Oh, what's it called?" And I said, "South Texas Women." And she said, "Women?" And I was like, "No, it's
just the same thing.
It's a songwriting thing. It's a songwriting thing. That's all it is." Although I do love Houston women. My mom's in Houston too, so there's a few down there that I love.
There you go.
Nice. So Southern Boogie is your sixth album, right? So what is different about this album than the previous ones, sound-wise, musically?
Yeah, I mean, I think this one is just rock and roll, Southern rock, more so than the rest of them. I kind of took took a journey to kind of get to where I am. I think I wanted to make a rock and roll record 10 years ago, but I was just kind of told like, rock isn't really the thing to do right now. It's not really in vogue, and so I made a country record, and and that did well, but I just kind of I did it wasn't me as much as, I was just kind of trying to find. It was like I was just trying to go in a circle this whole time, and the circle kind of completed itself with this record, and I kind of got back to what I've been wanting to do, and I think at the same time rock and roll was kind of doing the same thing. It's kind of I think kind of making a bit of a comeback. Everyone and their mom's making a rock record now. Well, not quite, not their moms yet, but there's a lot of rock music, great rock music being made, especially in the southern rock, blues rock world. And it's kind of, I mean, it's not country, but it's having its heyday a little bit, and I think it's only going to grow. So
Sure.
I hope I can be a part of that.
Well, I think you're firmly planted in the middle of it. And honestly, I think your first, I think your first album, maybe your first two were almost a little bit more acoustic singer-songwritery, which
Yeah.
is expected when you're new and you don't have, the resources to have a full band and all that kind of stuff. But it's been, I think, 12 years since your debut album. You got 6 records. And your answer to that previous question kind of reminded me. I tell people all the time that I spent the first half of my life running away from where I was from, and I've
Yeah.
spent the second half of my life running back.
Mhm.
Does that kind of resonate with you? Because it sounds like you grew up in Texas, you're in Houston, you go to New
Yeah.
York, you go to LA, you record all this other stuff and kind of follow a different path. But here you've come back and now you're saying this sounds more like me.
Yeah.
Does that journey resonate with you?
No, absolutely. I think it does. I mean, that's not to say that I haven't liked the places I've visited along the way. And when I say places, I mean more than just like Los Angeles as a place, but, making more like a country funk record, making some kind of funkier records, and doing some folky stuff. And, um, that's all kind of part, like, the last 3 albums that I made were kind of like part of a trilogy, I think. um and they were all just kind of albums about searching, and albums about like being on a journey. um and I still don't really know what I'm searching for. um but I've always sort of been a searcher, for better or for worse. um is searcher a word? That sounds weird when
It
I
is.
say it.
No,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
a word. You got
It
it.
sound,
You're
yeah,
good.
it sounded weird. Um, so yeah, I've always been kind of a searcher, and yeah, but I feel like I've kind of settled into where I'm supposed to be, not only like with this record, but just sort of in my life. And I moved to I moved to Nashville. I tried to move to Texas, back to Texas, but my wife, well, she would move back there too, but we had some other just outward stuff, that reasons that we had to be in Nashville. And but I love it here. I do wish I was closer to my family. That's why I wanted to be back in Houston. But Nashville's like the place to be, if you're, especially if you tour as much as I do, because it's just so central and so easy to get to Louisville or Chicago or Florida, whatever. It's just kind of right in the middle of all that stuff. So um,
Definitely.
yeah, I kind of forgot what the question was, but I hope I answered it.
All good.
I'd say
I tend,
you hit all the points. Yeah, for sure.
okay, cool. I tend to ramble, so might be my podcast.
Yeah, this is Roots Music Rambler is the name of it. So we're all good, man.
Ramble on. All right. So you said that you're currently based in Nashville, and that part of that decision was, your wife factored into that, right? So
Yeah.
and then we talked about the South Texas women. So has reconnecting with your wife and being married and, all that good stuff, has all of that had any other kind of impact on your music?
Not really, just besides writing wrote a couple songs about her.
Which is
But
always nice.
yeah, I think that I never really like people were always like, you should move to Nashville, you should move to Nashville. And I don't know, I've kind of always had this like rock and roll attitude where if you tell me to do something, I don't want to do it just because you told me to do it. It's kind of probably a character flaw, but I don't like being told what to do. Um, and so I just ended up here, and I mean, everybody was right. I should have moved here, but I just had to do it kind of as much on my own terms as I could. Um, and yeah, like I said, I love it. And, being here, um, with my wife and, kids and whatnot it's a good place for that too.
Sure.
And it's just a good city. I just a lot of good. I came from Los Angeles. I lived in Los Angeles for like 12 years, and I was a little worried moving here about the food because in Los Angeles you're a little spoiled. You
Sure.
got like everything. Like I love Asian food, and they got everything out there. But I've not been disappointed. There's so much good food here, and I don't drink anymore, so food is like the only thing I think about.
Yeah.
Um,
Nice.
I think we can relate.
Yeah. We're right there with you. Goodness. Well, we need to hear some more of this new record and give people a little bit more flavor of what they can expect when they get out there and get this Southern Boogie in them. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more with Sam about how music all started with him. But right now, we're going to go out with a little cruise, and this is also from Southern Boogie. Stick around. This is Roots Music Rambler. Welcome back to Roots Music Rambler. That cut is called Saturday Night. It's probably one of my favorite songs of Mr. Sam Morrow, who is with us to talk about the new album, Southern Boogie. Sam, when we were talking previously about the album and whatnot, I mentioned that we were going to get a little bit into your background. I know you grew up in the Houston area, but tell us where music started for you. What's your earliest memories of playing, hearing music, wanting to play, and how'd that all get you on this path?
Yeah, I started playing music in church, as a lot of people do in the South. Or um, I don't know. I just kind of was singing one day, and I was like, "Oh, maybe I can." I feel like I can sing, maybe. And I think I sang for my parents, and they were like, "Yeah, you can sing a little bit." And then I went and bought a guitar, and then I was in like the praise and worship bands, and then I realized that guitar and singing, got me girls, so I liked that. It kind of comes hand in hand. So I was like the star of the church camp for a little bit.
Whoa, look out, ladies.
I can talk about that now and laugh about it because it's so ridiculous. But I was real serious about it back then, though. Um, but no, so I kind of started playing music in churches, and a lot of like the band in church is just older dudes that are like retired musicians, basically. So a lot of them are badasses. So there was a few guys that I like learned a lot from, just like playing with them and playing with other people is kind of just like that's kind of how I learned anything. It's just playing with other people. I never really took like any lessons or anything like that. I'm mostly like self-taught, and I mean I've taken some voice lessons and a couple guitar lessons, but nothing serious. I'm not really disciplined enough for that. I'm just not a very disciplined human being. So, um, and that goes for everything. That goes for songwriting. I'm kind of well, you can call it spontaneity or you can call it laziness. I don't know what it is, but I call it spontaneity.
Okay.
There you go. It's all about the spin, man. All about the spin.
Yeah. No, I don't think I'm lazy. I think I just especially with songwriting, like I need inspiration, I'm not, and I've gotten a little better at it, like living in Nashville. Like I'm going to go off on a little tangent away from the question here, but living in Nashville, like there is, I mean, there's a lot of songwriting, and it's people just get together just to write a song, which I think is awesome. Like people get together and just write a song because they like writing songs. So I've gotten better at finding inspiration rather than having it find me. But I'm not like the Jason Isbell get up and write every morning. I wish I was, but I'm just not.
He's
I'm
a
just
freak
not
of
like
nature in
that.
that way.
He is, man. I mean, there's a lot of people like that. There's writers in this town that'll go in every day or 5 days a week and write 4 songs about some bullshit they don't care about.
Yeah.
And more power to them. That's awesome. They're making more money than I am probably, but I'm not wired that way. Um, and right on cue, I forgot what question I was answering. So
That's okay.
That's all right. We've got more, so we'll
all right,
continue.
yeah, bring it on.
All right. So you said that you need inspiration sometimes for your songwriting. So, and you kind of answered like where that inspiration maybe comes from, but who or what influenced you to follow the path to be a professional musician? Like, at what point did you say, "Okay, I can do this for a living"?
Um, yeah. So when I was 20 years old, I got my from about 14 or 15 to 20. I was a bad boy and got into some bad things. And when I was 20 years old, I got sober. So pretty early. I'm blessed that I kind of figured it out when I
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Because otherwise I would very likely not be here. But in a couple years after that, I went to a music school in Hollywood, and it was like this. It's called the Independent Artist Program, and it was at a Musicians Institute in Hollywood. And I didn't really like get a lot from the program. It was a little whatever, but I met some people, and at the end of it, one of the teachers like handed me his card and was like, "Hey man, hit me up. I'd love to work with you." And I was like, "Oh man, that's pretty cool." And so I hit him up, and that guy's name's Eric Korn, and we ended up making 5 records together. And he just kind of gave me that like boost of confidence that maybe I could, do this, and kind of was a mentor for me, um, for the last 12 years. I mean, still one of my best friends and mentor. And I mean, he's Canadian, so I hold that against him. But um, other than that, he's a pretty good dude. Um, no, so I think that was kind of, I needed that sort of validation, that from someone that, had been doing it, because, I was playing in clubs and it's one thing for some drunk guy to come tell you you were great.
Right.
And it's another thing for, someone that records music for a living to be like, hey, why don't we grow this? And, and why don't you let me help you and stuff like that. So that was kind of, I guess, the moment,
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
it was bigger than a moment, I guess, but, yeah.
Very cool. So you obviously you did 5 records with him. This is your 6th album, so I'm assuming he did
Yeah.
not work on this last project. And
No.
you moved to Nashville, so you moved away from him in LA. Was
Yeah.
that a difficult transition to make to do something without him?
I think I was ready for it. It wasn't difficult necessarily, but, um, I heard there's a famous producer named Jimmy Iovine. He's like behind Interscope Records, and he's made all kinds of records and stuff. And he said, after you made 3 records with a producer, shoot the producer. Um, and I told Eric, man, we're at 5, and I don't want to shoot you, but I don't know. I just think that. I think that it's just good to work with more other people. I don't even. I'm sure I'll do something else with Eric. Down the line. Make another record with him or do something. I mean, and he's actually still involved, like on the label side with this record. Um, so I mean, I think he'll be involved like with everything that I do. From here on out, just because I'm very loyal and there's not a lot of loyalty in this business. I
Fair.
see it all the time, or people leaving their people leaving people that have done good by them, and are doing well just because they think something is bigger
Yeah.
on the horizon or the grass is greener.
Mm,
And usually it's not,
yeah.
and that catches up with you too. Eventually that's going to bite you in the ass, once you just left all these people in the dust doesn't settle.
Yep.
um so I really value loyalty, especially in this business. And I just, maybe my career would be better if I, fucked a couple people over. But I'm not gonna take that chance.
Yeah, you can't sleep at night when you do that.
Right,
No,
right.
no. I just, yeah, I don't, yeah.
And he seems like a very source of constant support. So
Oh yeah,
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 and
yeah.
I can imagine that that's invaluable. So we as music consumers and music fans, we have our own ideas about the differences between the sound, the music in LA versus Texas versus Nashville. So from your insider perspective, can you talk to us about the differences in the scenes?
Yeah, I mean, Los Angeles has like everything, obviously. I mean, it's maybe like more of a like pop town, if you really want to put it in a box. But I mean, there's millions of people there, so you can kind of find your crew. Um, there's something out there that it's still it's been going on for like over 20 years. It's called Grand Ole Echo in Los Angeles, and it's a summer concert series every Sunday at the Echo/Echoplex. And that's just like a whole community of like roots music people. And I sort of found that community, must have been like 10 years ago, I guess. And um, I'm really grateful for that in Los Angeles. And, Texas, I've toured a lot in, but, I don't. Texas is its own country.
Yeah.
It is.
It's just its own country. It's got. I mean, you could. There's tons of musicians that just tour Texas and make a living, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
It's big
Um,
enough.
yeah, it's big enough, and there's enough like cities and enough venues, um, and Nashville. You know, there's kind of like two parts of Nashville. There's like the Broadway part of Nashville where you're playing on Broadway and making good money, or you can make good money down there. In my opinion, it can be a little soul sucking, but you know, you can
Play
do it and
wagon
make.
wheel.
Yeah,
Play
Come
exactly.
wagon wheel.
on.
Yeah, see that for me, that's just not what I want to do. And no, like no hate to anyone that does that. Like I'm just that's just not really what I want to do, and I'm not even really sure I could do it. Um, but and then there's like the kind of touring musicians, songwriter sector of Nashville, and obviously Nashville is known for like country. Um, but there's everything here too, and obviously a lot of roots music, a lot of rock music, some pop, and yeah, I mean, I tour around so much that I don't really think I'm like part of one scene,
Mm,
like this record, I didn't record in Nashville. I recorded it in Austin, because I don't know. I people because I think I felt like recording in Nashville was too obvious. Uh, this is just my stupid brain. So um, I just felt like it was a little, and I knew that I wanted to make like a record that was me.
yeah.
And to me is Texas, um, and so I recorded it in Austin. I know a lot of people in that scene too, and um, no scene is better than the other.
Right.
Okay.
They're just all different, and
Yeah.
um, there's good people and bad people in each one.
Yeah. Well, I think you followed your gut and your instincts, and it turned out pretty damn good because Southern Boogie is a damn good record, frankly.
Thank you,
And
man.
so good stuff. So you've touched on this a little bit, that you have been on this journey, and something you said earlier reminded me of the great philosopher Stephen Tyler, who said, "Life's a journey, not a destination." Um, but I'm curious if you take yourself back 12 years to when you were releasing your first album and what you thought your music career would be and your journey would be and where the path would take you, and then think about where you are now. How different are those two things, or are they?
Um, Man, that's a good question. Um, like 12 years ago specifically when I was making records, I just wanted to like tour the country with the guitar by myself. Like that was kind of the mindset that I was in. Um, but then once I, started playing with a band, I was like, wow, this is way more fun and less lonely. And and it's a little more expensive, but
Yeah.
I think it's worth it. Yeah, maybe I wish I was. There was like also a shift in my brain. Maybe like I don't know, maybe 8 years ago or something. Maybe after Concrete and Mud came out, where um I was like, I need to make money. I need to figure out how to make money, and that has really been evident for me like the past couple of years, because once you start having kids and stuff like that, you have other
Yeah.
people to think about. I can't just be some broke musician,
Right. Yeah, those kids are expensive,
barely
man.
paying rent. Yeah, and so is the wife too. you know um so yeah, I got other people depending on me, so I kind of had to shift from like, yes, I'm not gonna, jeopardize, my integrity in my music, but um, I gotta make money, and the only way that you make money is to get people to come to shows. So how do I get people to come to shows? And that was like a little bit of like a paradigm shift for me, where I was thinking like, oh, people will just come. If I just do what I'm doing, people will just come. But no, you got to think about it. You got to, put yourself in their seat, because if music was, if this business was, filled of music fans like me, there'd be no business.
Yeah.
I don't go to that many shows. I use Spotify. I buy records here and there, but I'm not as supportive as I should be. Um, and that's why I'm so grateful when there's people that are driving 3 hours to come to see me, because
Yeah.
I can't even. There's no one that alive or dead that I would drive 3 hours to go see. Um, so it just
Interesting.
to put myself in. Well, maybe that's not entirely true, but um, for the bit, we'll keep it like that.
Okay.
Yeah, so there was just kind of like a paradigm shift for me, where I started to have to like put myself, and you're in advertising, so you understand, like, you have to put yourself in the consumer's
Yeah.
seat. Um, because when it comes down to it, this is a business,
Yeah.
whether you like it or not. It's a shitty one. It's the worst business in the whole world, but it is a business. So that was, I know that wasn't exactly your question, but I think it might kind of answer like just a
It does. Yeah.
sort of like mind shift that I had, like, I don't know, 6 or so years ago. Yeah.
So as you are continuing on your journey, where can people find you and follow you on the interwebs?
I'm at sammorrowmusic.com. Instagram is Ma'am Sorrow. Um, yeah, if you go to my website, all the Twitter and all that stuff, and Spotify is all there. I'm on all the Spotifys and Apples and all that stuff. So, um, yeah, I mean, that's
All
where you
right.
can find me.
Well, we're going to make sure that there are links to all those places in the show notes so people can find sammorrowmusic.com. Go download, listen, stream, purchase. Southern Boogie is the name of the new album. Sam, we really appreciate you taking the time to hang with us. Love the new album, and can't wait to see you live on the road somewhere.
Thank you guys. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.
All right, the pick and the grinning segment's coming up next. Stick around for that. We're going to go out with another song from Southern Boogie and Sam Morrow. Here's another banger. It's called Wedding Ring. This is Roots Music.
Fall for nothing, she can crack a joke. Bright blue eyes make my engine slow. Looking for a flaw, can't find a thing. I'm gonna buy you a wedding ring so baby, please don't go. I said, oh.
Welcome back to Roots Music Rambler. How about that, Sam Morrow? Good stuff. Southern Boogie. Just the name of the album makes me want to go buy it. So there you have it. It's good stuff. Good to have him. He's been actually, I got to give a little bit of a shout out to a friend of the program, Aaron Perlett from Atomic Junction, because he has a really good podcast, kind of like ours, where he interviews artists as well, not specifically to Americana, but a bunch of different ones. He introduced me to Sam and recommended Sam to us. And I knew who Sam was, obviously. I was like, oh, you know Sam? Absolutely. We'd love to have him on the show. So big shout out to Aaron. His podcast is called the Load Out Podcast. I believe. So we'll make sure there's links to that in the show notes as well.
Awesome.
All right, it's time for our Picking the Grinning segment. This is where Frank and I share our picks that are making us grin. It might be an artist, might be a song, might be an album, might be a podcast, might be a documentary, whatever. Something that we're listening to or maybe watching and listening to that puts a smile on our face. So, Frank, who's your Picking the Grinning for this week?
All right. So I purposely didn't mention this artist and band when I was given my little recap at the beginning of American Music Festival, because I wanted to save it for my Pick and the Grinnin'. So my pick this episode is Les Green and the Swayzes. My God. Holy shitballs. This was the night that I was at American Music Fest with my sister, and then Tom actually was able to come in just to see Les Green. Fitzgerald's does this usually during the festival, where anybody who wants to come, who doesn't have a pass for the day, can pay whatever and come in for the closer for the evening. So yeah, so all three of us were there, and we were all just like, I mean, the showmanship of this band and Les Green himself. Oh my God, pure entertainment, but not in a cheesy, corny kind of way. Like, it was serious and it was good, and everybody was dancing. Everybody was happy, and everybody was just having a great time. And Les Green is entertainer of the year, as far as I'm concerned. Oh my goodness. If I beg all of you listening, if Les Green and the Swayzes are playing anywhere near you, make it a point to go see him. So the music, all right, soul, Motown, definitely has the roots rock thing filtered in as well. But his band is outstanding. He's got a couple of horns players, and they're showmen themselves. I mean, the drummer, oh my goodness, I can't say enough good things. And if you need any more convincing, my sister went home, told her husband all about it, and she said they spent the whole next day listening to nothing but Les Green and the Swayzes. So if you like soul, Motown, they did a 9-minute version of Shout. You make me want to shout.
Yeah.
I mean, I got down on the ground because Les Green said, "You gotta get down, y'all.
Get down on the ground.
You gotta get down," and we did. And I had a hard time getting back up, but it was definitely worth it. And I will not miss a Les Green show if he's playing anywhere near Chicago.
I love it.
Yeah,
that's
can't say
fantastic.
enough good things. And you go back and check the Instagram because they were stories. Darn it, I'll have to post some more of Les Green just so you could get a taste. But he's got stuff too on YouTube. So yeah, oh my God, Les Green and the Swayzes.
Okay, Les Green and the Swayzes. I love it. That sounds like something I would absolutely enjoy. So I'm going to dig into that after we finish the recording. That's good stuff. All right, I'm going to give you a little bit of a different spin on a Pick and the Grinning this week, and my intention here is not to bring it down at all.
Okay,
but this is a little sentimental and emotional, depending upon how into these artists you are. But I was made aware, my friend Joe Ray Thornberry, who I mentioned, he's my concert buddy, my festival buddy. He sent me a link the other day and said, "You got to watch this. It's the greatest thing ever." And he sent me a link to a film by Otis Gibbs, who is a singer-songwriter, but also obviously a filmmaker, on YouTube. And it is called A Love Letter to Handsome John. And basically, Otis is the director, the filmmaker making the movie. The subject of the movie is the late Todd Snider. And the purpose of the film is for Todd to share his recollections of John Prine, who is Handsome John in the title. And so it is about an hour long, and it's basically Otis just sat down with Todd, followed him around for 4 or 5 different recording sessions, I suppose, and just got Todd to tell all these stories about how he first met John Prine, how he got in with, John Prine and Guy Clark and Townes Van Zandt and that group. And it is a really interesting sort of, insider stories from someone who was a friend and mentee of John's, that, John Prine, kind of mentored and sort of ushered Todd Snider into the songwriters, inner circle in Nashville. And Todd tells a lot of great stories. Now, there's a couple things that are really touching and emotional about it for me. One, I love John Prine, and hearing anybody, recall stories that, because they were his friend and they were around him, I just eat that up. I just love it. But it's also sort of bittersweet because you're listening to probably one of the last significant things that Todd Snider did before he passed away. And I was never a huge Todd Snider fan, but because he was in that John Prine circle of singer-songwriter friends, I appreciated his work. I listened to a lot of his stuff, thought he was really clever and funny, had a lot of John Prine influence in him, obviously. And of course, when he passed, it was just bizarre and tragic. And so when you're watching this, you see Todd Snider up close and personal. And for me, it was really the first time really seeing him in a full-length interview, more than just a quote or two. And you can tell that he's either, he, at one point, I think he admits he's pretty baked. So he was, stoned when he was doing these interviews, or at least one of them. And you can tell throughout the different interviews that he's either on some sort of substance, and it might be as lightweight as marijuana, but you can tell there's something not quite firing right about Todd. And I don't want to infer anything because I don't know enough about how he died or all that good stuff to really draw any conclusions or comparisons. But it's just, I don't know. It's a little not disappointing. That's the wrong word. It's just sort of sad to see someone so vibrant and so talented, and at various points in time, such a dynamic personality, in a much understated state that you've ever seen him before. And you can tell that whether it's mental health or whether it's drugs, there's something there has deteriorated him a bit. Yeah. And then of course, knowing that, he passed away, a little bit less than a year ago, I think. And this was probably one of the last things he did. It's kind of a bittersweet thing to watch. So there's a couple of different angles where this thing is emotional, but I'm about 75% of the way through it. And I just, I can't stop watching it. Like I've stopped because we had to record this. I stopped earlier today because I had a conference call with a client. Like I've been watching it in bits and pieces all day, and I just can't stop. It's very compelling. So hat tip to Otis Gibbs for doing this. And making something so beautiful and compelling that is a really great portrayal of Todd Snider. And one of the last things we'll see from him, but also to him and Todd for doing this, because it's sharing a lot of those experiences with John Prine that not a lot of us got to experience. I had the good fortune to see him live several times when he was alive, John Prine. And so to hear these like inside stories is really cool, to just be a fly on the wall and hear them from someone who was there. So a love letter to Handsome John. It's on YouTube. It's on Otis Gibbs' official YouTube channel. And I will make sure that there are links in the show notes to get to that. But I highly recommend, you got an hour to kill, or you really are interested in John Prine or Todd Snider or Otis Gibbs. Check it out.
Or all of the above.
Stuff. All of the above. Very good stuff.
Awesome.
So there, that's my picking the grinning little YouTube video for you.
Cool.
Good watch. Cool. Well, I think this was a pretty good little program we put together here this evening.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah. Okay, cool. All right. Now, good luck with Lucia and not having her kill you about the Lucy Dacus thing. Hopefully you get that out of her system before I come there. She'll be out of town when I come there, so it won't matter to me, but I don't want her to kill me. So please let her take it out on you first.
Oh, okay. Great. Thanks, Jason.
Roots Music Rambler is a production of Vols and Partners, copyright 2026. Our theme music is Sheepskin and Beeswax by Gentacorum. Join us online at rootsmusicrambler.com and make sure you mash that subscribe or follow button so you remember to join us for the next hoedown and throwdown. She's Frank.
And he's Falls.
And whatever you do, kids, ramble on.